Hey, what's going on, guys? This is your old pal CHH. Today we are looking at the new 4K release of Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Now, I went with the Steelbook, but I don't think there was a wrong choice. I think both, the new artwork that they had done was sensational. I think the original art is also sensational. But I actually think, this Steelbook came out really, really nice. So I am somebody that has the Arrow video release of this film, so I've got a number of things to say about this as how it compares to, the Arrow release. But when it comes to Scream Factory's release of Killer Klowns, I learned something. I say I learned something interesting about this that, I don't know, I find fascinating. I think you guys might find this fascinating as well. So, if you remember, I did an interview with the Scream Factory creator Cliff McMillan, and we were talking about, how these movies change from company to company. Obviously, none of us thought that Arrow Video was going to lose Killer Klowns from Outer Space. You have to imagine that was a pretty big seller, but here we are, and Killer Klowns is with Scream Factory. Now, if you missed that interview, it was really good stuff. If I do say so myself, Cliff offered up a lot of information I think a lot of us were wanting to know for quite some time. So, yeah, definitely check that interview out. But, here's the thing I found interesting. So, for Scream Factory to get Killer Klowns, Arrow has the right of refusal. These companies get right of refusals, as far as I understood, based on what Cliff said about titles swapping from company to company. So that makes me believe Arrow decided to let Killer Klowns go, so Scream Factory get it the same way Scream Factory let go of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, for them to not be able to put that back out, and then Vinegar Syndrome had a home run with that release. So that's something you guys can consider when thinking about this. So, I was excited. I know a lot of fans have been wanting to see Killer Klowns on high definition for a long time, so I'm glad that it's finally here. Let's talk about it. The first thing I want to talk about is obviously the picture quality. Having the other releases of this film, the previous Arrow video release, was really good. The Arrow video release is a sensational looking release. The movie was really enjoyable to get from Arrow at the time. This is one of those times where I was learning how boutique labels can do restorations and how they release stuff. So this was a 4K scan of the camera negative on Blu-ray at the time from Arrow, and I thought that looked good. So it always makes you a little less excited, maybe, is the word I'm looking for, when you go to a title that is going from a 4K scan Blu-ray just to 4K. It's always cooler when it's a movie that just kind of had a decent release, and then boom, it gets this mega release. But yeah, putting this on, I had pretty high expectations. And I don't say that as a bad thing. I say that as a good thing, because a lot of times Scream Factory's 4K releases have been sensational. They've done 4K releases that just look great. There's some secretly good ones, too. Like Silver Bullet is really good. Dawn of the Dead 2004 is extremely good. Klowns from Outer Space on 4K, UHD, uncompressed, was really great. There are some scenes from this to the Arrow Video Blu-ray that are similar, mostly if it's low-lit nighttime scenes. They both just look really good. For instance, there's a couple scenes that are pretty close, neck and neck, when you look at them. For instance, you remember the scene right after the clowns start to wreak havoc, and there's that Michael Myers sit-up scene that one of the clowns does? They both look really good, but where this movie shines, and I say shines because it really is just okay, this looks incredible. When the clowns go into the convenience store, and they're in this brightly lit convenience store, you see every shred of detail on the clown costumes, the masks. It looked so good. So this movie looked incredible on 4K, and even more so in certain scenes. And even some of the stuff that's the composite stuff, I think when the couple with Suzanne Snyder and her boyfriend, they open that door and you see this giant tunnel, electricity going off, what I'm talking about, and they back out. That even looked really good on this. So the clowns get to really shine on this 4K, and especially when Officer Mooney gets the one clown in the prison cell, all that stuff just looks sensational. So it's weird, because you talk about what movies need to get 4Ks, what movies should be on 4K, that sort of thing. But when you actually see something on 4K that, you're excited about, but you're not thinking, oh God, I gotta see this, Killer Klowns actually ended up being really cool, because you get to really see all the detail and the looks and the designs of the clown makeups and the costumes, and that was sensational. So another stellar 4K transfer from Scream Factory. They did a killer job, but the thing is, they've been doing a killer job. I've been vocal about some of the things Scream Factory does in the past. Like, for instance, I'll say it again, and I really don't want to say this again because I feel like I'm a broken record. I do not like the fact that they want you to buy multiple slipcovers to get new art when they used to just put out great slipcovers with their releases to begin with. I'm going to shut up about it because I've said this 1,000 times. Anyway, but yes, the 4K on this, the 4K and the audio on this were both sensational. I mean, just as good as it can probably get. So it does outperform this release in terms of picture quality. But the reality is it should. So, I mean, I feel like it's a sigh of relief, but really it's just like, well, of course it does. It looks better, you know, and it should look better. So kudos on the 4K scan of this. Sensational. The best the movie can ever look and probably will ever look. Let's go look at the menu screen on the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray is where the special features are. Let's look at the Blu-ray screen for the special features on this release. Guys, we got the making of Killer Klowns. We've got composing Klowns. Visual effects with Gene Warren Jr. We got the creating Klowns. Deleted scenes, bloopers. Chiodos Brothers' earliest films and trailers on the special features disc, which is on the Blu-ray. This is what makes this release interesting, guys, because, I mean, this release looked better, and it should look better, but in terms of special features, this one whips its ass. I mean, there was a lot of features that are not on the 4K release of this that were on here. Some of them are the same features that got ported over to here, so I'm assuming Scream Factory licensed certain things, but, you know, they did not license or get the rights to other things on this. So this is one of those instances where I say, don't get rid of your Arrow Video Blu-ray. I mean, pound for pound, this is the better release. You know, and this is where it's kind of a screw-up on Arrow's behalf, because I know a lot of people still want Killer Klowns from Arrow Video, and wanted it for a long time when I think it went out of print. So this would have been more of a best-case scenario for Arrow to keep this. That way, all the new features, there's a lot of extra features on this that never went over to here. So this kind of sucks, to be honest with you, for the people that want to really have every droplet of special features and extras, because if Arrow would have held on to this and they put out the 4K themselves, they would have been able to keep all these features more than likely and have the film look incredible. But instead, you know, Scream Factory got it, and they did what they could. I mean, maybe they didn't want to pay to license that stuff, or they couldn't. It just depends. I don't know. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they just couldn't. But you're deprived of a number of cool features that Arrow Video has. So this is just one of those instances where I say, if you have the Arrow Video Blu-ray release, keep it, because, you know, picture quality-wise, Scream Factory wins, but pound for pound as a total package, I still got to stick with the Arrow Video Blu-ray as, like, the definitive release. So it's just one of those things, guys. This is the nature of boutique labels and licensing and, you know, the name of the game that they have. It's just weird because, you know, when Vinegar Syndrome did Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, they had everything from the previous releases, then a whole nother disc full of extras. That Texas Chainsaw 2 from Vinegar Syndrome is about as good as it gets, and that's just facts. So, guys, there it is. I'm just going to give it to you straight. I don't want to try to just blow smoke up your butts about, oh, this is the greatest release ever. The fact of the matter is, when I watch this movie, you're damn right, I'm going for this 4K. But when it comes to wanting to see and hear everything I can about the movie, I'm sticking with Arrow, guys. So this is just one of those kind of crappy circumstances. Don't get rid of your Arrow Video Blu-ray release. Hold on to it, guys. And maybe there's a chance Arrow can put out Killer Klowns overseas. And if you want to pick that up after getting the Scream Factory release, that's still an option for you. I hate to say you need to do that, but there may be something you might want to look into. We'll see. Maybe Killer Klowns will come out overseas from Arrow Video. That could be leverage that they had to say, hey, with 4K, people around the world can get our movies because 4K is a region-free format, or it's supposed to be anyway. And we can kind of let that go and still get a wide distribution throughout the world with our 4K of Killer Klowns. So keep that in mind, guys. I would not be surprised about that. So there it is, guys. I'll give this release I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Picture quality was sensational in this. Can't complain, guys. But if you don't have this, stay tuned. Maybe Arrow's going to announce it overseas. Or if you can find this cheap now, this release, you might want to pick that up. So there you go, guys. Thank you for watching. Your old pal CHH. Take care. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.